I've decided to interrupt our study of the verb decir in order to introduce you to something that is very important, which is how to join pronouns together. Now, this is a concept which you'll find extremely useful for everyday language, and it's something that I feel you're ready for at this point. It's also something that we can use immediately with the verb decir. Now, what I'd like you to do, first of all, is to take a close look at these example sentences. For the first one, we have, I say it to him every day. So it's no longer I say it every day, but the change is I say it to him every day. So it's a little bit more complex grammatically. Or they say it to me all the time, the it to me. She says it to them often. Again, we have the it to them. Or he says it to us. Now, our focus is going to be on those little bits there where we have the it to me or it to him, it to her, it to us, it to them. So the question is, how do we tackle that in Spanish? How can we express those kinds of things in Spanish? Now, the good news is that we can take all of that and express it in just 4 little groups. And we're going to go through those now. To express it to me is melo. You can see it's 2 words, me, lo, but again, in everyday usage, you hear it contracted together into melo. Melo will always mean it to me, melo. It to you would be tello. Tello. It to you, tello. For it to him, it to her, and it to them, sello. All of that is covered with sello. So it's a nice little bonus there, sello. And then finally, we have it to us. So it's noslo, noslo. So these might appear strange at first, but you'll quickly get used to it once we start to do our practical examples. So again, I'd like you to notice here that this is number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. In each case, we have the it to. And this is what is changing here, whether it's it to me, it to you, it to him, it to her, it to them, or it to us. Okay, so we have a lot of common ground there. All that's changing is me, you, him, her, them, or us. And again, let's run through it. We have it to me, mello, it to you, tello, him, her, or them is sello, and it to us, noslo. So the key here, if we just put it all on one slide, this is the thing to try to memorize. We have mello, tello, sello, and noslo. Noslo, sello, tello, mello, or go back down, mello, tello, sello, noslo. And also try to get what each one means in English. Okay, so the translation, mello is it to me, tello, it to you, sello, it to him, it to her, or it to them, and noslo is it to us. Now, the way to get comfortable with joining these pronouns together, by the way, these are pronouns. Some of them are direct pronouns, some of them are indirect pronouns, but we really don't have to worry about that grammatical terminology, okay? But these little ones here are pronouns, and so what we're doing is joining these pronouns together. Now, the only way to really get used to it is by using practical examples, and we're going to start with this mello, it to me. So all of the next questions, these examples, are going to be it to me, which is mello. Mello. You don't have to worry about any of the others yet. Just concentrate on mello. So let's try and build it up step by step. To say he says, right, we know that is dice, because we're using the verb decir to say or to tell. So he says dice. And to express he says it would be lo dice. So far, so good. Now we want to take it one step further and say, he says it to me. So not just he says it, but he says it to me. So what we do is Me lo dice. Let's break this one down and just do it in real time. So we have he says it, lo dice. Or even if we go back a further step, he says, dice. He says it, lo dice. And he says it to me, me lo dice. Let's run through it once more so you can see it again in real time. He says, dice. Or she says, or it says, so dice. He says it, lo dice. And he says it to me, me lo dice. That's how it works. Me lo dices, he says it to me. How would you say, he says it to me every day? Me lo dice cada día. He says it to me all the time. Me lo dice todo el tiempo. He never says it to me. Nunca me lo dice. I hope you threw the nunca way up front where it sounds the most natural in Spanish. Nunca me lo dice. Let's try working it now with some other angles. We're still staying with me lo for it to me. Let's build up from, say, you say. So we know in the present tense of decir, you say is dices. What about you say it? Lo dices. Now we want to express you say it to me. How would you do that? Me lo dices. Let's put a little magnifying glass on this again. We have dices, which is you say, and lo dices, you say it. But me lo dices, you say it to me. Me lo dices. How would you express you say it to me every day? Me lo dices cada día. Another angle we could use would be they say. And in the present tense of decir, they say is dicen, dicen. So we have the N on the end for they, dicen. What about they say it? Lo dicen. Now we want to express they say it to me. How would you do that? Me lo dicen. Me lo dicen. They say it to me every day. Me lo dicen cada día. They don't say it to me often. No me lo dicen frecuentemente. They never say it to me. Nunca me lo dicen. Alright, so if you found that a little bit tricky, again, it's normal because this is not something we're used to in English. And here we're kind of stepping up to a new level with grammar. Okay, so it's a little bit more tricky or a little bit more advanced to express these things, it to me, it to him, it to her, it to us, it to them. But you'll see how in everyday language and conversation, it becomes incredibly useful to be able to express these things. And once again, we can do all of that in just 4 groups in Spanish. So we have me lo, te lo, se lo, and nos lo. In the lessons coming up, we're going to explore these other ones, te lo, se lo, and nos lo.